guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Sierra, and this video is going to be about Jenna and Lacey, the mother-daughter duo from the MTV show Awkward. Awkward was a show that aired about 2010, 2011, all the way up to about 2016, 2017, and it followed Jenna Hamilton, who was in an unfortunate accident where she ends up with her arm in a cast. She is a high school student over at, I think it was like Palos Hills High School, and the summer before this accident happened, she was bumping uglies with one of the football players and most popular guy, Maddie McKibben. But here's the thing, now that she is about to go into her sophomore year, things are about to be a little bit different. When she comes home, her mom gives her a letter saying that someone, wrote her a letter or whatever, like she had a letter in the mail. And when she reads the letter, it's not even a letter. It's a list of things that's wrong with her and how to change herself. I'm gonna insert the letter here. It's wild. I'm just gonna tell you that now. But yeah, it's a very jarring, not nice letter. So literally throughout the show, or at least the first season, she's trying to figure out who wrote her this letter, and now she's on this road to redeem herself or just revamp herself with this accident, having her arm in a cast like this. So it makes her like very much the target for like random high fives, and everyone notices her. And the resident mean girl, Sadie Saxton, throws this rumor around that she tried to off herself, which she didn't. She was taking some aspirin, she slipped, she fell on the step near the bathtub. The entire scene looks like it was her trying to end her life. Plus, also, she was writing in her journal at the time, her online journal that's private, and said that sometimes being a teenager makes you wanna, So it wasn't a good look. So with all these components, she is pretty much the subject of bullying from Sadie Saxton and Sadie's best friend, Lissa, and her friends Tamara and Ming. They're both like on the D list when it comes to the levels, social hierarchy of high school. But now she wants to reinvent herself after pretty much Maddie McKibben says that he can't be seen with her. No one can know that he likes her. So she's like, oh, you know what? F this. I'm going to reinvent myself. Let's try to fix this. We have to turn this situation on its head. And essentially that's what she does in the first season. And she catches the eyes of Jake Rosati, which is Maddie McKibben's best friend. And we go on a whole spiral, whole situation between her and her friends and these love interests throughout the rest of their high school experience. So let's go to season 1 specifically. She gets this letter, like I said, and she's trying to figure out who wrote the letter. And she goes around asking people who wrote the letter. She asks Sadie Saxton, the resident mean girl, and she's like, I didn't write it. I don't have to write anything down. Like if I don't like you, if there's something I don't like about you, I'm gonna tell it to your face. And that's who Sadie Saxton is. She's a very confrontational, direct, crude person. So she wouldn't write the letter. Her friend, in a fit of anger, says that she wrote the letter, but she did not. So as we're getting to know Jenna, getting to know her situation with Maddie, her friendships, her relationship with her mom, her relationship with her dad, she starts to branch out and connects with Jake Rosati. Here's the thing though, in the end of the first season, when she comes home after the dance, she scrambles to figure out the code for the house because the alarm is going off. And the thing is, she goes in the random junk drawer to try to figure out like where the piece of paper is that they wrote the code down on, so she can quickly just turn it off after she's on the phone with her mom. But she finds a notepad with a border, and the border is the same border of the letter. So she pieces it together that her mom wrote the letter. Yikes, right? Terrible mother to be writing that kind of letter, right? God awful. And so in the beginning of the video that I was working on, I wanted to dive into like Lacey's background, Kevin's background, and I'm gonna do that a little bit here. But I want to really get to what even caused the situation for her to write the letter. So let's dive on into Lacey and Kevin's background. So Lacey and Kevin are her parents. They had her when they were 16, and Lacey has always been stuck in this high school mindset. So she is very much a very superficial person. She's all about looks, popularity, status, not necessarily wealth specifically. Like, they have like a nice house. I think her dad makes decent money. They never really talk about what Kevin does for money, but they live pretty comfortably. And this is the life that they live, and that this is how Lacey is personally. Just stuck in the high school mindset. Her best friend Allie, who was still very much back in high school, very immature. She even calls Jenna Little B Word. That's her nickname for her. Not a nice nickname. I love this show because it's very like dark, not dark humor, but just like very like heavy comedy, satirical. That's what the word is. And so it's very apparent with how Allie talks to Jenna, how Jenna talks to Allie, and how everybody really just communicates. It's a comedic show. It's hilarious. I absolutely love it. And so with Kevin, he works, and he's not as like in the high school mindset as Lacey is, but they have a pretty good relationship currently. But here's the thing though, when we back it up to when Lacey was pregnant, they actually had issues prior to Jenna being born and after Jenna was born. So let's dive into their relationship a little bit. So Lacey and Kevin, high school sweethearts, they dated, and I think they broke up for a little bit. No, she dated a different guy. She dated a guy named Ben first, and then she ended up dating Kevin. She ended up getting pregnant by Kevin, and Kevin went on to like go to college, or at least go on to do different things. And the thing is, he always left Lacey alone. He left a 60-year-old alone who was pregnant because he wasn't ready to be a father. So he was out doing whatever he wanted to do. And when he would come home or come see Lacey, he would pretty much just be rude to her, crude to her. Even Kevin admits later on that he wasn't a nice person to Lacey when Lacey was pregnant, and even after when Jenna was born, Kevin just wasn't ready to be a father. He was very immature and doing whatever he wanted to do, while Lacey, who is 16, 17 at the time, she's in her teens, being a young mother and trying her best at what is a difficult life already. So, mind you, that's what's really going on under the surface between them, from their past and their current relationship, and why it kind of seems as if like Lacey is still very emotionally and mentally immature, while Kevin is slightly more mature. Like they're both like silly. They both have a high school mindset, but you can see the adjustment of how Kevin has done a lot of different things, dumb things. He was able to have that experience and to come back and finally step up and be a father. Lacey didn't get that opportunity because Kevin didn't even give her a chance because he was dipping, okay? So Lacey essentially just never grew up. And so she just did her best to raise Jenna in the way that she could and what she had. So, just going to say that. And this is not to excuse Lacey's behavior for writing that letter to her daughter, because as you can see from the letter, it's very terrible content for what she wrote on the letter. She's targeting Jenna's looks. She's targeting Jenna's behavior, her friendships, pretty much saying that she thinks her daughter is ugly, because one of the points literally is, when you're pretty, you're happy, and clearly you're not happy. You see how that really wraps up into the fact that she doesn't think her daughter is pretty. They're saying that she needs to change her attire, change how she acts. And these are all the things that a mother shouldn't point out in a negative way like this. There's a different way to approach it, but this is how Lacey handles the situation. So from the letter, Jenna is completely distraught. And obviously, once she finds out that it's her mom that wrote the letter, she actually tells Lacey, either you tell Dad or I will. And so it takes Lacey some time, but then she finally, when Jenna and I think all of them sit down together, and Kevin like talks about the letter, after Jenna leaves, Lacey comes clean and says that she's the one that wrote it. And Kevin, doing what he has done best, he dips. He leaves for about, I think it's about maybe 3 months or so, a month or two, something like that. I would say within the range of 1 to 3 months, he was gone, just dipped. I don't think he could handle the pressure. He couldn't handle the fact that Lacey even wrote this letter. And he's obviously very disgusted and very frustrated with Lacey. So now they're going through a whole nother wave of challenges in their marriage and in their relationship. Because he's like, oh, how could you write this about our daughter? How dare you write this to our daughter? And Jenna's feeling the same way too, obviously, because she's like, don't leave me with the bully. She really emphasized that when Kevin was leaving the house, because dude, that didn't make any sense. Why are you gonna leave your daughter with the person who wrote the letter? Like, I get it if it's something that's hard for you to process, but you don't just leave your child in a very vulnerable situation. Period. You just don't. But over time, when Kevin finally comes back home and talks to Lacey about the relationship and how to move forward, he does admit like he wasn't a good guy, the things that he has done, and how Lacey was very much doing it all on her own pretty much. And Jenna gives her mom some grace. She actually goes to her mom's room to console her. I think Kevin left that night too. He wasn't like fully back yet, but he did come by to check in on Lacey and check in on Jenna. But this was mainly because Lacey's friend Allie was getting married to Sadie Saxton's uncle. Yeah, wild. That scene between them when they're bickering, between Allie and Sadie, is literally my favorite scene, hands down. I love the dialogue. I can recite the whole thing, but I won't right now. So when Allie's getting married, she invites Ben, which is Lacey's first boyfriend. So since Kevin's not in the picture right now, Lacey's feeling extremely vulnerable. She clings to Ben, but not in a romantic sense, but just because it's a familiarity that she has, because she's never dated outside of Kevin or Ben before. Like, these are her only two relationships. So for someone who is clearly immature, emotionally, mentally, still stuck in a high school mindset, she's stunted. So that's where she's going to go towards, because there's no other stage of life that she has experienced with other people. She didn't go to college. She didn't do community college. She didn't do anything like that. That would make sense if she had done that, but she didn't. So of course she's going to go to her high school self. So Kevin sees Lacey dancing with Ben and Allie, because Allie always hated Kevin. She even points out and says, leave, it's what you do best. So Allie was the person that was always there for Lacey when Kevin was doing this shady thing, this shady behavior, this bad behavior towards Lacey. So that's why he left the wedding. Like, he just popped out of nowhere, and then he came to the house to talk to Lacey and Jenna about the whole situation. But anyway, let's move forward to when Lacey finally breaks down completely. And it's not just because of Kevin, but because of how she's impacted her daughter. So we actually find out the reason that Lacey wrote the letter and how that situation came about was the fact that Lacey was on the phone with her mother at the time, saying that she's not raising Jenna right. And so Lacey was internalizing, and everything was bubbling back up from how her mom had raised her, or how her mom has treated her when she was a teenager. So saying like she's not raising Jenna correctly. So probably all the things that her mom judged her for, it was coming up, and she was judging Jenna for the things that Jenna is not doing. So it could have been the fact that Lacey's mom probably judges her for getting pregnant in the first place. Saying like probably you never should have had Jenna or whatever prior to, this situation. And now the fact that Jenna's here and as a teenager, she's saying, oh, you raised Jenna wrong. Blah, 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 probably targeting Lacey's lack of career experience or whatever, like all the different things. And so Lacey is now lashing out on Jenna and doing the things that she never wanted to do. Like literally in the scene, you can see her, she's bawling her eyes out. And she says she did the one thing that she never wanted to do, which was doing what her mom did to her. She said that it wasn't right. She was like, I was not in a good headspace and I shouldn't have done that. So she really breaks down in that moment. And really, you can just see her become childlike. So you can really you just really focus on the fact that she never really fully had a good childhood or a good teenage stage because of her interactions with her mother and her upbringing. And so in turn, that came out in the letter, which ends up hurting Jenna. And throughout the entire show, Jenna goes through a lot of different situations, a lot of experiences, as one does in high school. And then there's one specific incident, and his name is Colin. And that is about season 3, when Colin is introduced, who is played by Nolan Gerard Funk. Also in that season is the actor who played Brian from Breakfast Club. He's the teacher. He's the English teacher in that season, which was iconic because I recognized him. I was like, is that Anthony Michael Hall? Like, I was like so shocked. I was like, oh my God, it's him. I don't know how I could tell. Like, Breakfast Club came out in the 80s, but somehow I just knew that was him. I was like, he looks familiar. He just aged decently. I guess my brain just like clicked. I don't know. But Colin is not a good influence because now Jenna is cheating on Maddie with Colin. Yeah, things get wild from there, and she starts to act out. She's sneaking out at night. She's going to parties. She's doing things that she doesn't normally do. And it's not to say that she's, at the beginning, that she was a bad person. She's doing bad things, but she wasn't a bad person. But then things obviously take a turn for the worse. She starts to verbally attack her own friends. She's just very defiant. And when Jenna is getting ready to, she's not even getting ready to sneak out. She goes through the freaking front door to go to one of Colin's parties, and her mom and her dad are sitting on the couch. Kevin is putting on his parenting cap, and he's all like, where do you think you're going, young lady? And even Lacey steps up and is like, what's going on? What's happening? Like, where are you going? And so Jenna's pretty much just saying like, oh, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like, I'm about to get ready to leave. And Lacey says, well, if you leave, don't come back. This is the first time you actually see Lacey step up as a parent and not trying to be Jenna's friend, because she had been very much a friend for Jenna, minus the letter situation. But by giving her and Tamara tips on how to drink alcohol at a party, being the person that Jenna could talk to about schmecks and all that kind of stuff, really bonding with Jenna in more in a friendly way versus a mother and daughter way. But in this scene, she very much turned into mom mode, saying that she is doing a lot of destructive behaviors and that she shouldn't come back to the house. At the party, Jenna takes, no, she doesn't take it. Colin tries to give her E, and she doesn't take it. And the thing is, literally, when she like comes out of the bathroom, Colin is not there. He done ditched her. He left her at the party. So she ends up calling Maddie. I know, bad Jenna. Bad Jenna. She shouldn't have called Maddie. And Maddie came to the rescue. I'm gonna have to do a different video on Maddie and Jenna and their relationship. Also, Maddie and Jake's tiny, really quick relationship with them too. But he comes and he drops her off at home, and she goes through the front doors, and she just immediately apologizes to her mom for her behavior. She just starts crying, and Lacey just hugs her. She's not reprimanding her. She understands that Jenna is going through these different stages as a teenager because she's done it before too, but she is not allowing Jenna to take advantage of that. Like, yes, you're going through teenage experiences. Like, that's granted. That's literally the whole entire part of the process of being a teenager. But what you're not going to do is be disrespectful, rude, and hurt people around you. So the fact that Lacey was able to keep her foot down, but also being a nurturing parent, you could just see how their relationship had shifted from the fact that Lacey was essentially Jenna's first bully into a mother-daughter relationship that is on the road of healing. They actually start to become really close. They have a lot of conversations. Even Lacey goes on to have another baby. So you can really see that how Lacey's life has changed after the letter, after that conversation with her mom, and finally actually telling Jenna what it was like for her and where that came from, and not excusing her behavior. So Lacey actually taking accountability for that letter and for the situation that caused Jenna to go down this spiral at the beginning is what literally leads them to what they end up becoming in season 5, which is the last season of the show. But yeah, they just have a really good relationship. Obviously, there's still ups and downs along the way, but they come a long way. Lacey came a long way. Jenna came a long way. To be quite honest, it was a journey. It's a really good show. I highly recommend it. It's over on Paramount Plus if you want to check it out on there. That is all I have for this video. If you like this video, be sure to like it, comment below. If you've watched the show, what do you think about Lacey and Jenna's relationship? And if you would like to see a video of Maddie and Jenna's relationship or Maddie Jake's relationship, just what relationship do you want me to do? Like, just let me know in the comments below. And until next time, stay magical. Bye.